Hi, this is State Representative Tony Hwang representing Fairfield and Trumbull. And obviously the biggest question after Hurricane Irene is not simply the storm's damage, but when are we going to have our power back? And as a state representative, it's a serious issue and concern for me, and I've gotten a lot of feedback from my constituents. What we have right here is Anthony Marone and
Bill Reese, senior managers with United Illuminating, who's going to shed some light in regards to what they're doing right now and the degree of effort they have undertaken to try to get power back. The first thing I wanted to ask either of you is the fact, what has been the overall impact from the beginning of the storm?
Well, Tony, the overall impact, first of all, thank you for meeting us out here and allowing us to give you a glimpse of, just a small glimpse of what some of the activity that's going on. The overall impact of this storm has really been quite devastating for so many of our customers. We recognize that, and we're doing everything we can to marshal all the resources possible. We knew this storm was coming. A lot of preparations were made ahead of time, and now we're following through and running our storm plan. And so that's what's happening now. The first few days of the storm, first day or so of the storm, it was all about making areas safe and doing an assessment on the damage. We're now entering into the restoration mode. And Bill's got some of the numbers of where we were at the start of this outage and how we've the progress we've made to date.
Okay.
Yeah, so and thank you very much again for giving us this opportunity, but when we started on Saturday, actually in the morning on Saturday, our outages started compiling very quickly. By the end of the day, we had about 158,000 customers out of our 320. So literally half of our customer base was out. So really, and now when we're entering the 48th hour, we're about half back. So we have outages of about 80,000, a little bit over 80,000. We're very hopeful that by the end of the evening, 12 o'clock midnight, we'll be at about 65.
From a big picture standpoint, this storm devastated your service population. What was the percentage of impact to your entire service population?
Well, more than 50% of our customers were without power.
Wow.
At one point.
Right, and now, like I said, we have half of those back, and we're making progress on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, and we're very hopeful that we're going to continue that movement throughout the week.
One of the things that I've gotten in the last couple of hours has been status updates from your office. Can you share with me what kind of effort UI has been making since you've gotten the assessment down to be able to provide updates to consumers who might have seen a truck go down the street and anticipate that their power might be on, but 6 hours later not have an understanding as to where the outages are and what the services are? Do you have an update plan, and can you share it with people where they can easily access it?
Sure, and we've done a variety of different things. We put out a press release 2 or 3 times a day to the media, giving the statuses and talking about the outages, the percentages, the crews we have out in the field. Our website, any of our www.uinet.com, any of our customers can get on that website. We update the statuses by town of how many are out and how many we've restored on an hourly basis. So anytime they can go and get that. They can call us. By tomorrow morning, we'll start to be able to, now that we're assessing things and we're moving forward, we're going to be able to give restoration timelines starting tomorrow. It might not be every customer, but as many customers as we possibly can. So website, media releases, and call our number, and they can get as much information as possible.
Okay. I think another important piece here is that you mentioned about, well, customers might see a truck and they think, great, my power's coming back on, I see the truck in my neighborhood. What we have right here is a good example of this particular crew is a clearing and make safe crew, because we still have a lot of areas where there's unsafe conditions, whether wires are down or wires are on trees. This particular crew is going through, and their job isn't to necessarily restore power, it's to find those dangerous conditions, clear the trees, get them out of the way, and make it safe. If, however, when they do that, they see that it's a very quick and easy fix to get some customers back on, they'll stop doing that safety work and they'll go ahead and restore. Even though that's not their first priority, they're a safety crew. Right here, this tree behind us, they came out to do the tree clearance, and they recognized that it wasn't a difficult fix, that they could make that by spending an extra 15 or 20 minutes, and they'll turn on this whole neighborhood, maybe 40 or 50 or so customers. So they're going ahead and they'll take their own initiative to go ahead and do that. Just before this job, they had another safety issue that they took care of, but there was a lot of devastation. It needs a rebuild of that whole section. So they move on after they've made the situation safe, and another crew will come in with a work package that will rebuild that. So it's not as simple as the truck is there.
That's great. That's important. Can you elaborate a little bit more about sectionalization? Because one of the worst things is your neighbor down the street has power,
sure,
and I don't.
Right.
And you're wondering, you thought the grid was so much bigger.
Yeah. Right.
But explain how sectionalization impacts where power goes and who has and who doesn't.
I don't want to get overly technical, but what you have is you have substations that have circuits that are feeders that come out. Those feeders, think of them as a primary extension cord out of the substation, and those will feed a general area. And then off of those primary circuits are what we call side taps. And the side taps, you could think of it as a smaller extension cord. And that smaller extension cord,
okay, sure,
that smaller extension cord are your individual neighborhoods. So as an example, what's going to happen here is they're not energizing a whole circuit. That might be several hundred customers. But what they're doing is they're taking care of a small neighborhood, kind of a side tap off of a circuit. So I can't tell you exactly which houses now without a map are going to come on from this, but it will be a portion of this neighborhood will come back online based on this fault that we found right here.
Does UI have an outage map that people can ascertain on your website?
We are in the process of putting an outage map on our website now.
Okay.
We're hopeful that either today or tomorrow that outage map will be there. Right now, if you access our website, you'll see a grid with all the information, but not an outage map, and we are efforting that right now.
But it does not, even when that map comes back, it's by town, it's not going to be by street. So you won't be able to see this street and that street. That's a level of detail that's not available.